Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, a bomb threat caused a Dexter school to shut down for the day. Our Matthew Juronsik has the latest on the investigation.
A bomb threat at Ridgeview Community School in Dexter Thursday morning forced 560 pre-K through 8th grade students and 123 staff members to evacuate the premises.
At about 9:45 this morning, we were contacted by our local Dexter authorities that there had been a bomb threat sent in on the VA crisis hotline, and it specifically stated bombs in the Ridgeview Community School.
Dexter Police and the Maine State Police K-9 unit were called to the scene to search the building, but did not find anything. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and the FBI were called in to assist. Students and staff members were evacuated to Dexter Regional High School. The kids were reunited with their families and sent home for the day, while teachers came back at the end of the day to collect their belongings before heading home. Superintendent Kevin Jordan credits the school's preparedness for this unfortunate situation.
We have these emergency plans that are, in today's world, are pretty well planned. And so we put that into play and evacuated the building as quickly as we could.
Locals were shocked that something like this would happen in their community.
It was an appalling situation.
I'm shocked. This is a safe community. It's not something that I would anticipate would happen.
Superintendent Jordan says the school will be open tomorrow with a heavy police presence. He also mentioned that there will be an ongoing investigation into the matter. In Dexter, Matthew Juronsik, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
3 people are dead after a wrong-way driver hit another car head-on in Portland. Just after 9:30 last night on the Turnpike, state police say the driver of a Honda Civic heading south on the northbound side was speeding when the car hit a pickup, which only had minor damage. Police say the Civic continued on, hitting a RAV4 head-on. Both vehicles then burst into flames. The driver of the RAV4 and both people in the Civic died. Police are investigating why the Civic went the wrong way to begin with. The victims' identities are not being released at this time. And according to our media partners at WGME, this is the 5th wrong-way crash in Maine just this year. Another crash on the interstate this morning left one person pinned for more than an hour before he could be rescued. Maine Department of Public Safety spokesperson Shannon Moss says at about 6 a.m., 59-year-old Nelson Castro of Homestead, Florida, was driving his tractor-trailer near mile marker 164 in Etna. The vehicle left the roadway, which caused the tractor-trailer to overturn onto the left median. Moss says Castro was partially ejected and pinned for about an hour and a half before fire and EMS crews could get him out of that vehicle. According to Moss, he was taken to the hospital with what appear to be non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of that crash is under investigation. Police are still investigating a death at a residence in Fairfield. On Tuesday, Fairfield police discovered a body at a mobile home at 247 Main Street. Our crew on scene Wednesday night observed police units from multiple departments, including Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit and the Maine State Police Mobile Crime Lab. Today, a representative from the local VFW hall, which has security cameras pointing toward the residence, says Maine State Police confiscated the footage from the time of the incident. Neighbors that we spoke with say that they were shocked by this and the extended police presence that lasted for more than 27 hours. We reached out to the Department of Public Safety for more information, but we have yet to receive a response. We will, of course, update you as we learn more. In other news tonight, Senator Angus King introduced new gun control legislation today that would restrict certain firearms and make some gun modifications illegal. Our David Ledford breaks down the bill and what it could mean for gun owners.
Senator Angus King has proposed a bill to regulate the sale, transfer, and manufacturing of certain semi-automatic weapons. The announcement comes roughly 1 month after the Lewiston mass shooting in late October. The gas-operated Semi-Automatic Firearm Exclusion, or GO-SAFE Act, would limit large-capacity ammunition-feeding devices to hold no more than 10 rounds, and require gas-powered semi-automatic firearms to have fixed magazines. King says the bill won't hinder Americans who own guns for self-defense, hunting, or visiting the shooting range.
We're not talking about taking anybody's gun away. We're not talking about severely limiting the traditional culture of gun use. We're talking about restricting the lethality of weapons that are designed more for killing people than doing pretty much anything else.
The legislation would also outlaw gun conversion devices like bump stocks and Glock switches, which allow guns to fire rapidly. King introduced the bill with his colleague, New Mexico Senator Martin Heinrich, who says the bill focuses on preventing gunmen from quickly reloading during a shooting incident.
AR-15s or assault rifles, the weapons in a number of mass shootings aren't dangerous because of how they look. They're dangerous because they use expanding gas to simultaneously fire one round and reload the next round into the chamber while staying on target.
A number of weapons would be exempt from the bill, as shown on your screen, including bolt-action rifles, semi-automatic shotguns, and more. We spoke with Maine Military Supply General Manager Mike Vignali, who prepared and read on camera a statement in response to the legislation.
Any laws proposed or enacted to control guns don't prevent crime with guns. They only allow control of people who want to be law-abiding. The only way to help stop violence is to strengthen access to mental health resources and allow current systems to access those records to function effectively.
The bill would also create a voluntary buyback program, which would allow those who already own guns that would be banned under the bill to get paid for turning them in. To learn more about the Go Safe Act, visit our website at foxbangor.com. In Bangor, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A legislative commission is seeking to help Maine veterans who are exposed to toxic chemicals get coverage and care from the VA. Specifically, that commission is studying health problems potentially stemming from exposure to Agent Orange and other toxic chemicals used by the U.S. and Canadian militaries. That exposure took place during military training exercise at Canadian Forces Base Gagetown in the 1960s. Previously, the VA has denied claims for veterans' benefits and disabilities that resulted from Agent Orange exposure at Gagetown specifically because the Reserve and National Guard units were not in Vietnam at the time of exposure.
Let's be honest, for the veterans around here, the VA has some great people that work there and provide care for our veterans the way they do, but the bureaucracy of what that organization is why we need the congressional delegation to do this, and some of the lawsuits and the other ways, because that bureaucracy is not going to move on its own without groups like this. So
the commission's final report on their findings and legislative recommendations are due by December 15th. That report will be presented to the Veterans and Legal Affairs Committee when the new session begins in January. Law enforcement, meanwhile, are sounding the alarm. The Somerset County Sheriff says staffing levels are at almost crisis mode. In a select board meeting this week in Madison, Sheriff Dale Lancaster said the department is working at about a 50% staffing level. The sheriff says they just lost a couple of deputies because the pay is better in other places.
Finding good, qualified men and women who want to work nights, weekends, holidays, and get spit at. Hopefully the pendulum will shift, but right now it's not a vocation that people are pining to go after. We're really scurrying every day to fill these positions.
He says the department is being proactive in their hiring efforts, such as by sending people to job fairs and visiting colleges. But unlike other counties, Somerset doesn't offer sign-on bonuses for new hires, and they're not the only ones struggling. He says right now the state police has about 50 openings as well. All right, and taking a turn now, looking outdoors, certainly feeling that chill this week. Let's turn things over to Conrad Sapinski with the first check of our forecast.
Thank you so much. Our first weather is brought to you by Saliba's Rug Cleaners, Maine's largest rug cleaning destination for over 70 years. All right, guys, we made it. Northern Lights, a chance of that is back for our region. The greater chances, of course, into Canada and even into Alaska. These red colors, that's your greatest chances of seeing these Northern Lights tonight. So we do have a little bit of a chance, especially with breaks in the clouds overnight. We do have that possibility. If you do see any of this, please send in some photos. Right now, though, we do see some partly cloudy to mainly clear skies. I'd say partly cloudy here in town. Temperature-wise, though, we were at 41 earlier today. Bar Harbor 41, Rockland was at 42, and even some 30s up north into Greenville. Now, overnight tonight, we will see a light breeze, so of course those 30s will feel a lot cooler, so you want to put on those layers if you want to go outside and see these wonderful colors, but you got to make sure you got to be outside of town and in some very, very dark spots.
All right, Conrad, thank you. And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, Maine's outdoor recreation economy is valued at more than $3 billion. Our Doug Banks took to the Maine Outdoor Economy Summit to learn more. And our Devin Dagnall will bring us a one-month checkup on Maine's sports betting legalization. Stay tuned for those stories and more.
Hi, I'm Angelina Mucci.
And I'm Andy Mucci of Family Fun Bowling Center.
When we want to know the weather, we go to foxbangor.com.
Celebrating our 50th anniversary year, Family Fun Bowling Center has 20 lanes of 10-pin bowling at its best.
Dude, you coming? Because the only thing dripping should be your style. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. With Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and flu relief. Also try for Fizzy Fast cough relief.
My father started a roofing company in the 1970s.
Back when asbestos was still commonly used in Maine.
When George was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew there wasn't a cure yet, but we knew he needed help.
We called Joe Bornstein's office because this family means business.
Their team is handling everything, representing Mainers who were victims of asbestos exposure.
We highly recommend the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Let's get it. There's never been a better time to get away with a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted. Plus America's best warranty and up to 3 years complimentary maintenance. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Now's the time to get in and get away. Get a Black Friday special now with 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or up to $3,500 bonus cash on the all-wheel drive Santa Fe. Offers end 11/30.
Remember the one who was sent to you this day. Merry Christmas from Ideal Recycling. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the ADA Fence Company family. We appreciate all your business throughout the years. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Engstrom's Auto Service family. We want to thank you for your business this past year.
The baddest superstars on the planet are unleashed in prime time. From the heavens! All new Friday Night SmackDown at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Hello, I'm Emma Smith, and coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear an in-depth description regarding the Crime in Maine report. Plus, Senator Angus King's office has released new legislation, reportedly to save lives and simultaneously protect Second Amendment rights. And we'll hear these stories as well as your full rainy weekend weather forecast coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Welcome back. A new affordable senior housing complex has opened in a former Fairfield sanatorium. Bateman Partners LLC developed that project, and according to company president David Bateman, tenants began moving into their units last month. He says COVID and construction material shortages delayed the project, causing it to take twice as long as they anticipated.
We were really happy last month to be able to open the doors. And in fact, we're a little over 75% occupied already, which really gets to the heart of how drastic the need is for that type of housing. I just wish we could do more units. This was only a 28-unit project, but again, I think it's more in line with every little bit helps.
Of those 28 units, Bateman says half of them are one bedrooms, the other half two bedrooms. Tenants also have access to a laundry room and a common room. Bateman says the project cost a total of $9 million, which was primarily funded by grants, the Maine State Housing Authority, and private investments. Maine's outdoor recreation industry accounts for $3.3 billion of Maine's economy, or nearly 4% of the state's total GDP. That's one of the highest percentages in the entire country. More than 30 Maine businesses made their way to Samoset Resort in Rockport to network and share insights into everything the great outdoors of Maine has to offer. Our Doug Banks was there.
Day 2 of a 3-day summit brought together people from different businesses and backgrounds with a collective vision in mind.
To connect with one another, for people to meet one another, learn, share ideas.
Breakout presentations featured topics like how intelligent is AI, from retail to rescue, inclusive recreation in Maine, and embracing recreation-based economies.
We are leading project management and fundraising efforts for the Skowhegan River Park. I think Maine has this great opportunity to become an outdoor recreation destination, and our rural communities are really going to be able to benefit from that.
The summit gives people within Maine's growing outdoor recreation economy a chance to share their unique perspectives.
It's good to kind of hear how people are working through today's economy and, across those broad groups.
For Lifelight, making those connections means a safer Maine for all.
To make sure more people who come to Maine understand what it's like to be outside in Maine, right? The best rescue that happens is the one that doesn't happen.
Although the doors will close on this year's summit, Maine's outdoor economy has no signs of closing its doors anytime soon.
We'll think about Colorado and Utah and some of these western states as being outdoor states, but we have a huge industry here in the state of Maine, and it's something to be really proud of and something for us to be investing in further.
In Rockport, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The Lincolnville Ferry Terminal is getting a $7.1 million upgrade. That money coming from the U.S. Department of Transportation's Ferry Service for Rural Communities grant program. Constructed all the way back in 1959, the Lincolnville Ferry Terminal connects an estimated 180,000 passengers to and from Islesboro every year. The funding will help modernize the ferry terminal to better meet current and future demands. That includes servicing a new plug-in hybrid ferry, which is expected to be delivered by 2027. Earlier this month, the state of Maine officially launched online sports betting, and one expert says it's already generating an impressive amount of revenue. Our Devin Dagnall has more.
On November 3rd, Maine joined the ranks of some of the other states across the country allowing sports betting, and so far, the gamble for Maine is paying off. In less than a month, the state has amassed over $450,000 in tax revenue from sports betting, and it's not expected to slow down.
There's been projections anywhere between 3.8 and 6.9 million, but with the numbers that we're seeing so far in the first 25 days, it looks like we'll come in around 6.6 million.
That tax revenue is distributed to various programs like the General Fund and programs to help problem gamblers, which is important. Since sports betting is easily accessible, there have been concerns about problem gambling and gambling addictions. These concerns aren't baseless. According to Milton Champion, the executive director of the Gambling Control Unit, many other states noticed a drastic increase in problem gambling when they first legalized sports betting, but that doesn't seem to be the case for Maine.
Pretty much nationwide, there was a 40% increase in calls to problem gambling centers, but we're not seeing that here in Maine.
Just because everything is going well doesn't mean the Gambling Control Unit isn't keeping a close watch on the situation. One of the more interesting tools the unit uses is a map of Maine that shows real-time bets taking place.
This is an app that we use for geolocation, and basically each time you see a pin come down, it's someone attempting or someone making a wager in the state of Maine.
The tool allows the unit to keep a close eye on the state while keeping track of suspicious activity.
On Sundays, you can't even read the cities on the map.
Champion says he and his unit are expecting a huge increase in sports betting as we get closer to the Super Bowl, so we'll check back in a few weeks. In Augusta, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, a terrorist attack in Jerusalem leaves 4 Israeli civilians dead. We'll have those details and more from the war between Israel and Hamas. And workers at a Macy's in Washington going on strike over the holiday weekend and what they're demanding. Stay tuned.
Even though Dorsey Furniture is known for our vast collections of quality home furnishings, sometimes we like to venture into the forgotten passageways and dark corners of our enormous warehouse to mine the odd nightstand, forgotten sofa, orphaned love seat, or the elusive discontinued mattress. Meanwhile, our sales manager, not the bean counters, smashed their original retail prices into tiny fractions of themselves. Dorsey Furniture. Black Friday, black tag sale going on now.
Orono is more than just a college town. It's an affordable destination. Welcome to the Orono Arcade, where we have both modern and retro games. And for a new experience, check out our 9-hole black-light mini golf course. Budget-friendly, fun for the whole family, with 13 restaurants within walking distance. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Orono Arcade.
From the land to the sea, Chase's Family Restaurant is the place to be.
Are you looking for a place to unwind after a long day?
Then come check out our Hideaway Lounge.
With a bar that's both upbeat and laid back. And it's the perfect atmosphere for anyone who wants to unwind after work.
Or kick it up for the weekends with daily drink specials and a full dinner menu.
You can fill up on a good time any night of the week.
Thank you for being a part of our family.
Here at Chase's Family Restaurant.
Happy holidays from Silver Fox Automotive, specializing in everything from oil changes to diagnostic repair. Happy holidays from the Eddington Store, your local one-stop shop for everything from gas to snacks. Season's greetings from Bangor Seat Cover, New England's leader in convertible top installation and all upholstery services.
Saturday, the Big Ten Championship is on Fox.
We've been waiting all year long.
With his sights set on the playoffs and a national title, J.J. McCarthy and third-ranked Michigan put their perfect season on the line against Iowa.
Let's go! Wow!
The Big Ten Championship, sponsored by Discover, Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on Fox.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
Two Hamas terrorists opened fire in Jerusalem. The men, who were brothers, were killed by police and an armed citizen. Israel and Hamas agreed to extend their ceasefire by another day as a new group of hostages was released by Hamas. Fox's Nate Foy is in northern Israel with the latest tonight.
My heart goes out to the victims of this attack.
4 Israelis are dead after 2 Hamas gunmen opened fire in Jerusalem this morning. As Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I told him, we swore and I swore to eliminate Hamas. Nothing will stop us.
Blinken then met with Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, discussing ways to accelerate humanitarian aid into Gaza and improve security for Palestinians in the West Bank. This mother is weeping tears of joy, finally reunited with her daughter, 21-year-old Mia Shem, released by Hamas terrorists today, with 40-year-old Amit Susana and 6 other Israeli hostages. But the joy of coming home can quickly turn into grief. On her first day back in Israel, American-Israeli mother Liat Benin learned Hamas terrorists murdered her husband on October 7th. She'll raise their 3 children alone. But Israel is united against Hamas and ready for whenever this ceasefire ends.
We are going to fight Hamas till we prevail, no matter how long it takes.
Knowing whatever comes next in Gaza will be scrutinized by the international community. Secretary Blinken said tonight that Israel must take steps to protect the innocent civilians in Gaza whenever the fighting does resume. Tomorrow's the 8th consecutive day of the temporary ceasefire. In northern Israel, Nate Foy, Fox News.
It's only happened 5 times in the history of Congress, but members could vote this week to remove one of their own. Lawmakers are fed up with New York Congressman George Santos, who's accused of lying about his background to get elected and illegally using campaign funds for things like Botox and lavish vacations. Congressman Santos says his colleagues are bullying him into resigning. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
If I leave, they win. If I leave,
the bullies take place. This is bullying.
GOP Congressman George Santos insists he will not resign, even as more of his colleagues say they will vote against him.
I think it's kind of clear what was done will be proven to be illegal.
I think George Santos is toast.
The vote is expected Friday, and it will be the third time lawmakers vote on his expulsion after Santos survived their last two attempts. But this time, lawmakers have the findings of an incriminating House ethics report.
We learned that Mr. Santos spent campaign-related funds on personal rent, on personal credit card payments, on ATM withdrawals.
The vote puts House Speaker Mike Johnson in a tough position.
I personally have real reservations about doing this. We're going to allow people to vote their conscience. I think it's the only appropriate thing we can do.
An expulsion means Republicans risk making their narrow majority in the House even slimmer.
Well, why would we do this? We have a 4-seat majority. You're reducing our majority by 25%. I don't think that's very smart.
Meanwhile, Santos argues expelling him will set a bad precedent.
This will haunt them in the future, where mere allegations are sufficient to have members removed from office when duly elected.
And Santos isn't leaving quietly. In what will likely be his final act in Congress, he introduced a resolution to expel another lawmaker from his state, Democrat Congressman Jamal Bowman, for pulling a fire alarm in a House office building. Santos's charges include conspiracy, wire fraud, and falsification of records. He has not yet been convicted. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Meanwhile, the new head of the CDC is on Capitol Hill facing tough questions from Republican lawmakers about the agency's transparency. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Capitol Hill.
As cold and flu season ramps up, the new head of the CDC gets tough questions from lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Dr. Mandy Cohen facing off against Republicans on the House Energy Committee, many of whom remain deeply skeptical of the CDC's mission after strong political disagreements erupted during the COVID outbreak.
Even though we want CDC and our health community to give us the data and the science, that did not always appear to be the case.
Transparency is very important to me, and I'm working hard to make sure that we can collaborate with many partners.
Right now, the main focus is on avoiding a dangerous triple-demic of flu, COVID, and RSV during the cold winter months. Of the three viruses, parents have been mostly focused on RSV. There are now about 8,000 new cases every week. That is up more than 33% from just 2 weeks ago. But the RSV vaccine recommended by the CDC is in short supply, which some Democrats say is the fault of Republicans.
The Republican majority has actively opposed strengthening public health and failed to use the lessons learned to better position America to respond to a future health emergency.
But Cohen says COVID, not RSV, is the virus to watch, with more than 15,000 hospitalizations and 1,000 deaths every week.
COVID is still the respiratory virus that is putting the most number of folks in the hospital and taking their lives.
Senate Republicans introduced a bill on Thursday called the End COVID Tyranny Act, giving Congress greater oversight over the CDC. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Texas's Attorney General sues Pfizer over the effectiveness of the company's COVID-19 vaccine. In a news release, Attorney General Ken Paxton says Pfizer misrepresented the effectiveness of the vaccine. He says the company claims its COVID vaccine was 95% effective against infection, and that was based on a metric that the FDA says is misleading. Paxton also accuses Pfizer of trying to censor public discussion about the vaccine. Fox Business reached out to Pfizer for a response and has not heard back. Meanwhile, gun suicides have reached new heights. New data from the CDC says firearm suicides reached, quote, unprecedented levels in 2022. In the report published Thursday, researchers say firearm suicides were responsible for approximately half of overall suicide deaths, a whopping 27,000 out of 50,000 overall deaths. Firearm suicide rates also increased in all racial and ethnic groups. Potential causes for the rise in such deaths are being attributed to unemployment, mental health care access, and the COVID pandemic. Robocalls and texts were annoying before, but now with AI, scammers are fleecing Americans in increasingly sophisticated ways, leading to the creation of a multi-billion-dollar mitigation market. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of Fox on Tech.
As lawmakers consider options for regulating artificial intelligence, experts are raising red flags about the technology's use in robocalls and robotexts. Scammers are increasingly turning to adaptive AI to fleece Americans. In 2023 alone, there are projected to be about 60 billion robocalls made, and the average amount lost to a phone scam is now about $1,400.
Victims are losing more money to robocalls and robotext scams than they have prior. And so what we're seeing is actually more believable, more relevant scams.
But like most problems these days, there's an app for that. RoboKiller takes a proactive approach to protecting us, intercepting those calls and texts before they reach your phone, so you won't have to hear any more messages about your car warranty expiring.
We look at a number of different categorizations of, that phone call and make a decision on whether or not we think that's safe.
And there's even a new feature that allows users to exact some robocall revenge.
They will intercept your spam calls and mess with telemarketers for you, and you get to listen to the funny recording at the end.
But with texting scams getting more sophisticated every day, both the feds and the private sector will have to work hard in the coming years to keep up.
We're going to be starting from scratch from, technological solutions, again, because the landscape's different.
The robocall mitigation market was worth about $5 billion last year. They expect that to go up to $18 billion over the next decade. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Workers at 3 Macy's stores in Washington state were out on strike last weekend. One of their issues is the company's policy regarding retail theft. Fox's Dan Springer is in Washington tonight.
On the busiest shopping day of the year, hundreds of workers at 3 Macy's stores in western Washington walked the picket line instead of helping shoppers in line. Without a contract since June, the workers represented by the United Food and Commercial Workers say they rejected the company's offer of a 50 cents per hour pay raise. But the union says that's not the only issue.
You're hearing, economics is always going to be a priority, right? Workers are dealing with the cost of living, but sure, safety is an important part of that, and they really are asking their employers, what are you going to do to keep me safe at work?
In the last few years, retail theft has become a constant problem across the country. And according to Forbes magazine, it is the worst in Washington state, where for every resident, a stunning $347 worth of goods is stolen. The Washington Retailers Association reports $3 billion worth of merchandise was taken last year alone.
Not too many smash grabs, but that happens as well. A lot of them are repeat offenders. That didn't used to happen, but now they come in regularly. I know them. Some of them just walk in, pick something up, and walk out, and they do this multiple times a week.
Lisa Lewick says Macy's suspended her without pay for 3 weeks after she called police on a repeat shoplifter. The company has since backed down and given her back pay, but she wants protections written into any new contract.
Macy's wouldn't respond to our individual questions, but did issue a bland statement saying that safety is always a top priority. The 3-day worker strike did prompt a new round of contract talks, and worker safety in the midst of this epidemic of retail theft will be on the table. In Linwood, Washington, Dan Springer, Fox News.
And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, a chef from Milo will soon be on his way to the White House. We'll tell you why. And in sports, how high school wrestling made its grand return to Penobscot Valley for this coming season. We'll be right back.
Unwrap a night of shining stars.
Unwrap this!
The LEGO Masters Celebrity Holiday Bricktacular 2-night event begins Monday, December 18th on Fox.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Hello, fellow flyers. I'm the Savvy Traveler, here to share the secrets of convenience at Bangor International Airport. Parking, you're steps away from the terminal. Inside, even more conveniences. And friendly, efficient security. All of these make BGR the official airport of you. Remember, the Savvy Travel through Bangor International Airport. Flybangor.com.
Come stop by Triple S Tack Shop, 315 Hamden Road, Carmel, for quality clothing and equestrian gear.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage. Doing business the right way every day.
How about that first half?
I mean, that offense, they were slicker than a $2 suit on a $3 smile.
Let's go back to the studio. A $3 smile. What do you mean? You doing, Bradshaw?
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, do you reckon I can say butter my butt and call me a biscuit on live TV?
I do not think you should say that.
Copy that.
Welcome back. A Saturday Night Live alum will make their hosting debut next month. A beloved foul-mouthed teddy bear gets an education and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
How bad is school gonna suck?
Ted heads back to school, BTS looks back, and McKinnon hosts in the Hollywood Nation. Kate McKinnon is heading back to Studio 8H. The former Saturday Night Live star returns to host the show's last episode of 2023. It will be her first time hosting December 16th, and she'll be joined by musical guest Billie Eilish. Disney Plus released the trailer to BTS Monuments Beyond the Star, an 8-part docuseries that chronicles the K-pop icon's 10-year career. It will include never-before-seen clips and interviews with the 7 members discussing their early days of training, their historic debut at American award shows, and more. It premieres December 20th.
You should be going to school every day with John.
And Peacock has dropped an extended look at Ted. The new visual shows the foul-mouthed teddy bear attending his first day of high school with his human best friend, John. The prequel series to the film franchise follows the duo's early days in 1993 Boston. All 7 episodes of the show arrive on Peacock January 11th.
Let's do this right.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
A popular gaming franchise is heading to Netflix. The streaming company says Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy, the definitive edition, will be available to play in its gaming library starting December 14th. Subscribers can pre-register to play the games, which have all been updated for its mobile platform. Netflix now offers more than 80 mobile games to members, which come without additional fees or ads. Well, you won't have to wait all night to hear which film wins the Oscar for Best Picture. That's because the 2024 Academy Awards ceremony will officially be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. The show, which traditionally aired at 8, often ran past 3 hours. Jimmy Kimmel will be back to host the ceremony for a 4th time. The 96th Academy Awards ceremony will air on March 10th on ABC in Los Angeles. Oscar nominations will be announced in January. A group of accomplished choreographers come together in New York to celebrate composer Philip Glass. Fox's CJ Papa has more.
It's rare that so many world-class choreographers share a single stage. But the Joyce Theater in New York is presenting some of the biggest names in dance all in one evening. The occasion, a program celebrating minimalist composer Philip Glass. Dancing with Glass is a series of fresh choreographic takes on his solo piano etudes, which are performed live. It's part of the Dance Reflections by Van Cleef & Arpels Festival and features works by postmodern innovator Lucinda Childs, Shannon Judson of Urban Bushwomen, Justin Peck of New York City Ballet, Brazilian tap artist Leonardo Sandoval, and Los Angeles-based choreographers Bobby Jean Smith and Or Schreiber. The performances coincide with the release of a special edition box set and includes the complete etudes and a book of essays on Glass's music. Dancing with Glass performances run at the Joyce Theater through December 10th. CJ Papa, Fox News.
And when we come back, we'll have our full 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
Look what we got going on tonight. We do have a chance of seeing some northern lights overnight. Are we going to have enough breaks in the clouds to see some of these lights? Well, got to tune in to find out. I'll have all the answers coming up.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the visions of celebrating with family and friends this holiday season. Give the perfect gift to get you where you need to be all year long with Milwaukee tools for any job. Milwaukee's impact driver and ratchet sets will get you up and going and receive a free M12 battery instantly when you buy an impact driver and ratchet set at any of Coastal Auto Parts' 29 locations. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. Our Stable Lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new, smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Football fans, with the Caesars Sportsbook app, you can be in the game all the time. Seeking instant action? Quick Picks offers you the most popular games and markets, already built for you and ready to bet. Experience the thrill when you stack your bets to create a super parlay. Build bets for your favorite teams and players across multiple games. This season, don't just watch the game. Download Caesars Sportsbook and experience the game like never before.
What secret celebrity is hidden inside our super sphere? I don't have a clue. That's my mama.
January 3rd, it's the ultimate new celebrity guessing game. Hear their talented relatives sing. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Figure out which superstar they're related to.
Who does he remind you of?
She looks like she could be in his family.
I know that voice.
And win life-changing money.
Who is the celebrity behind the relative? You got it right.
We Are Family premieres January 3rd on Fox.
Hello, Crapopolis!
From creator Dan Harmon comes TV's #1 new comedy.
How did I live without this?
Crapopolis, all news, Sundays on Fox.
Welcome back, guys. Today's weather is brought to you by Fire Farms. Fire Farms is Belfast's #1 dispensary, offering a great selection of pipes, water pipes, CBD products, and much more. And precipitation-wise, though, guys, we are in the clear. Not that lucky down south. If you're in Dallas, Oklahoma area, going into St. Louis, you're about to get hit with a good amount of rain. So luckily for us, whole different scene. We just have a mixture of some clouds outside, partly cloudy here in town. Overnight tonight, we will see more breaks in the clouds, which does give us a little bit of a chance to see those northern lights outside. But of course, into Canada, that's where you're going to see the greatest chances to see some northern lights. Now, tomorrow, especially into the afternoon to evening hours, overnight as well, we are looking at some rain starting to move in, some light to moderate rain at times. You got to go north of Millinocket area, north of Greenville to really get into that moderate snowfall and some accumulative snowfall as well. Maybe a couple of snowflakes mixing in on the back end for our area, but just know this will be mainly a rain event Friday and then into the day on Saturday as well, with temperatures well above freezing. Now we're looking at maybe around half an inch of rain up until Monday, and then it looks a little bit interesting. Models are showing that there will be another strong low pressure system in the region. This is still several days away, but some models are indicating where we might even get close to 2 inches of liquid equivalent rain. But with cooler temperatures, that does mean a little bit of snow will be in the area as well. And some of these models are showing a good snowmaker on the way. Look at this. This model is showing a lot of snow in our area. I think this might be slightly overdoing it, especially with temperatures being near freezing to slightly above freezing. But your greatest chances Monday night into Tuesday, that does look a little bit interesting. We'll keep tracking this right through the weekend. Now, wind speed-wise, though, 13-mile-an-hour winds in Bar Harbor, 12 in Rockland. Here in town, a solid 8-mile-per-hour breeze. Up north, not looking too bad, anywhere between a 5 to 10-mile-per-hour breeze. And with those temperatures in the 30s 30s. Of course, it feels like we're back in the 20s, but hey, we've seen much worse temperatures. Remember last year, we saw feels like temperatures at like 40 below zero. That was incredible stuff. Now, nothing like that going on this time around, and all over the country, we're actually seeing a push of warmer air up north. Look at Chicago. They were in the 50s earlier today, and just 3 days ago, they had several inches of snow. For tonight, though, into our area, temperatures will be hovering near freezing, partly cloudy skies, and that light breeze. A good chance to see those northern lights. We do have a slim chance, but still, if you do see it, please send in some photos. For tomorrow, though, increasing clouds, much warmer. Temperatures near 50 degrees. So I could say maybe close to beach weather, right? Compared to what we're going to get the following week. Our extended forecast outlook does show rain in the area Saturday, possibly rain and snow Sunday into Monday. Temperatures will be back in the 30s.
All right, so an active weekend ahead, Conrad. Thank you. And sports is coming up next. Stay with us.
Maine's #1 Kia dealer, Van Sickle Kia, has you covered with affordable Kias for everyone. Right now, you can choose a brand new Kia Forte, equipped, not stripped, for just $19,999. Or drive the new Kia Niro, which gets an amazing 53 mpg. Choose from all-wheel drive Telluride, Sorrentos, Sportages, Seltos, Souls, and a whole lot more. Plus, you get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, the best in the business.
The best cars, the best prices, and the best warranty. I'm Peter Van Sickle. I guarantee it.
At U.S. Cellular, anyone can get any phone free. So give yourself a free phone.
She's here.
Then give yourself the gift of not checking it. The gift of connection at U.S. Cellular. New and current customers get any phone free.
My father worked at the mill for over 30 years. He was exposed to a great community and excelled at his job, but he was also exposed to asbestos. The air quality inside the mill was always his biggest complaint. He had no idea how deadly some of the products and materials were. When he was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew to call Joe Bornstein's office to get my dad the help he needs and the justice he deserves.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
The holidays are here and scammers are putting in extra hours. Keep these tips in mind. Carefully research any charity prior to making a donation and be selective when giving out banking information. When buying gift cards, stick to stores you know and trust and keep your receipts. When shopping online, look for HTTPS in the address bar to ensure you are on a secure website. Finally, trust your gut. If the deal appears too good to be true, it probably is. With these tips in mind, have a great holiday season from Bangor PD. We'll be here if you need us.
Tonight's Sports is brought to you by Engstrom's Auto Service in Guilford. We specialize in all foreign and domestic service and alignments.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Let's start here on the basketball court. It was a huge game that lived up to the hype down in Portland on Thursday. Gorham native Mackenzie Holmes and 17th-ranked Indiana coming to the Cross Insurance Arena to play the Black Bears. Much anticipated homecoming for Maine's own Mackenzie Holmes. Maine playing in front of a record crowd, too. Here we go. First 2 points of the game goes to the premier guest of the evening. Holmes has the Hoosiers on the board. But Maine would control the game early on, and Simon gets a steal, takes it the length of the court for the bucket, and then here comes Wyndham's Sarah Talon into the lane for two. Back the other way now, Holmes keeping her Hoosiers in it right here with another tough bucket down low. Maine would lead at the half. Second half now, Simon again for three. She nails it, a career-high 34 points for her, but the Hoosiers would pour in 22 in the fourth quarter. Holmes finishes with 22 and 7 rebounds. Indiana wins it 67-59. All right, let's talk some Patriots now. The news coming out on Wednesday that Bailey Zappi is preparing to be the starter this week and should be the one under center when the Pats host the Chargers on Sunday. Reports are that Zappi fielded most of the first-team reps at practice on Wednesday with not Mac Jones, but Malik Cunningham behind him. Mac was running the scout team offense for the Pats. It's been a tough year 3 for Jones, the former first-round pick, now third on the depth chart. But New England hoping Zappi can provide some kind of spark to their offense. Here's what he had to say in the locker room ahead of the start.
Nothing set in stone. I'm just taking it day by day, treating every rep that I get in practice like it's a game rep and just preparing like I do every other week. Feel good about it. I felt good about it for, since back in training camp. So, me and Coach OB, we get along well. So, I'm always picking his brain.
All right, that should be interesting. Let's go over to some wrestling news now. After years of not having teams, 6 area schools in Penobscot County have merged to create the Penobscot County Wrestling Co-op. And as our Ryan Sudol reports, they're building something special.
High school wrestling in Penobscot County is officially back.
We didn't have it for the last, 3 years. Just an awesome opportunity.
Last year I wrestled in high school, and coming off the mat, there was no one to talk to other than my coaches.
Now, for the first time in many of these kids' high school careers, they will be a part of a team. PCW, Penobscot County Wrestling.
After COVID happened, it almost made wrestling extinct in this area. Me and one of the other gentlemen who have young children in this area that like wrestling saw the need for it, and here we are.
John Bapps, Brewer, Hamden Academy, Bangor, Orono, and Herman make up this co-op. But even with all those schools, no one feels threatened by their surroundings.
It's fun, a lot of decent competition, partners, it's just normal.
We got a lot of awesome guys here, and it's just been a lot of fun getting to know them.
To boot, the team even has their own building, the Hamden Grange. It sat dormant for years until head coach Aaron James took a very important route.
I drove by this building one day randomly, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty big building. I said, I could fit a wrestling mat in there. So I tracked down who owned it, told her what I wanted to do, and she said she'd be happy to sell it to me.
The quite literal definition of if you build it, they will come.
I practiced at private facilities before, but this one's definitely nice.
There's heat, there's running water, mats. It's all you need, really.
And all you need to build a program is a foundation. PCW believes this core group will inspire young wrestlers to up their game and one day be alongside them. The future is bright.
These kids will see that work ethic that we're preaching here, and they'll try to push themselves. And eventually they'll get to the same place as all these guys. We'll have a huge feeder program. We'll have a bunch of guys just coming up who are really good.
In Hamden, I'm Ryan Sudol, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
All right, now finally some news from Husson Athletics on Thursday. The university releasing a statement regarding an infraction issued by the NCAA that stems from self-reported violations by their swimming and diving program. The school says that last December, the program's coaching staff reported that their former head coach had allowed a student to participate in workouts while on the clock as a team manager. So the student was technically paid for time not working. The NCAA investigated the incident, and additional penalties for the coach have not been issued. However, the Division III Committee on Infractions is issuing a public reprimand and censor, 1 year of probation, and a $1,250 fine in addition to repayment of unearned wages.
We have 2 compliance officers that work hard to provide added education to our coaches, not just in staff meetings every month, but also weekly. There's some things the NCAA will ask of us to put together a more robust schedule of how we're doing that. I think that work's already started from what I can tell. We'll just formalize that and make sure we're following through and keeping track of it and making sure the NCAA knows we're doing our due diligence.
All right, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
We're lucky to live in Maine. We have a wealth of natural resources, hardworking people, and time for the things that matter. Mechanical Services is all about Maine, with energy efficiency that protects our environment and helps businesses grow. Preventive maintenance and energy solutions that save money. How Maine is that? Mechanical Services. We're everywhere you are in Maine.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I started a dog walking business. Oh! No, it's just too funny! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin D knocks out your worst allergy symptoms, including nasal congestion, without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Claritin D.
Silver Fox Automotive is a family-owned and operated company with more than 30 years of experience. We are originally from the county and offer competitive prices and promise you will be completely satisfied with our work. We offer a stress-free experience to both our new and returning customers. We only use parts from reputable brands to ensure your vehicle is safe to drive. Here at Silver Fox, there will always be a friendly face to greet you. Come see us at 2004 Audlin Road in Herman.
When the acres add up, so does the work. The Kubota LO2 Series is ready for it. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience, it features powerful, dependable Kubota diesel engines, performance-matched attachments, and the versatility to get the job done right.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
This is the big one. None better than this.
Every Saturday night, the biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops, beginning December 9th.
Welcome back, and finally tonight, a Maine chef is heading to the White House. Chef Joe Robbins from Bissell Brothers in Milo was invited to cook for the U.S. Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland at the Tribal Nation Summit in Washington, D.C. next week. Robbins is a Penobscot native and one of 4 indigenous chefs invited to the 2-day event. Robbins says he's excited for this opportunity.
I think we're feeding 450 a day and then like 1,000 at night. So it's a big, tall task to figure out, and a lot of logistics. I mean, most restaurants don't serve that many people a day, so to do it in a place you've never cooked in before, and we have plenty of time to work on it.
Chef Robbins says he plans to bring a taste of Maine to the nation's capital, and he's making sure all his ingredients are available before he flies out on Sunday.
Yeah, so I'm doing turkey roulade along with wild rice salad and apples. The turkey roulade will be stuffed with cranberries and squash from right here in Maine.
Sounds delicious. Well, the Tribal Nation Summit takes place December 6th and 7th in Washington, D.C. Great to have some Maine representation there. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And from everyone here at Fox 22, please take care and have a great rest of your night. We'll be right back here tomorrow.